Hello, Ingi.
Hello, Morten. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. So all the way from Iceland, I can hear you.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Technology.
Yeah. Can you turn on your webcam if you have one?
Let me
Just
see.
next to the microphone in the top.
There we are.
There we
I
are.
am.
Yeah. And
Right.
the reason I want to have a camera on you is because I wanted to check your eyes, because every time I see a photo on you on LinkedIn, you have different colors eyes, just because you're in color management, but that is just fake. I can see now, right?
No, nothing fake about that. But it's just cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, just those 4 colors.
Okay, fantastic. Ingi, how is things on Iceland now? Is it good?
Yeah. No, everything is opening up in Iceland. We don't have any COVID cases anymore.
Ah, that's
So-
nice to hear. And how has the situation been? Has it been okay, or did you have a lot of people that were affected by it?
Well, we had actually quite strict measures for a couple of months, so we had a lot of people being tested, and we had a whole team, crew of people who were tracing the virus and putting people in quarantine. So, but it worked very well, so we were able to basically smother the virus.
Okay, that sounds great.
Now we just have to worry about how we are going to welcome tourists to Iceland without.
Yes, because that is, of course, a very important part of the Icelandic economy to have visitors and tourists there. So another thing that maybe doesn't influence so much on a global economy scale or Icelandic economy scale is Spot-Nordic. But I think that you are a very active one-man army for SMS colors, right?
Yes, well, not quite a one-man army anymore. There are actually new members coming on board. So this is a few people, you could say.
Okay,
and
so
a few companies, basically.
But still a small army, right?
Yeah. Of course, Spot-Nordic is a small company, of course.
Yeah. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, first of all, they can see over the Skype session we did a couple of weeks ago, where they can we have a little bit more time talking in that thing, because today that the stage will be yours, because you have prepared a presentation of what it is you're presenting and doing. So why don't we just take it away, and then we can talk afterwards. I will probably have some stupid questions,
Of course, as always.
Always.
And as Martin said, my name is Ingi Karlsson, and I am the owner of Spot-Nordic in Reykjavik, Iceland. And today I'm going to be talking about the spot matching system. So I'm going to go to my first slide. This first slide, I hope you can see it. Otherwise, we'll try to share it later. But this first slide is
we see it finally, so don't worry about it.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Morten. This first slide is an advertisement from our friends at Pantone. This was posted just a few days ago, and many of you may have seen it. It shows a brand new Pantone color, especially made for Heinz ketchup. And it is actually a really good example of the difference between the spot matching system and basically all other color matching systems around, including the mighty Pantone. Since basically what you can see if you look at your screen carefully is that the Heinz 57 red color of Pantone seems to be completely different to the color of the board game and the color of the ketchup bottle. And actually the background color is yet another shade of red. So basically what SMS is all about, it's all about trying to have just one color for each brand. That is the big idea. Pantone and companies like RAL and NCS each serve and will continue to serve their own purposes, to standardize colors for certain industries. Pantone, for instance, is the global specialist in spot colors for printing on paper, and first and foremost on coated paper and boards. And they also develop color for textile and for plastic. RAL and NCS, if we talk about these companies, they have developed colors for industry applications primarily. Those companies, they spend a lot of effort each year on predicting color trends, which colors will be in next year in interior design, perhaps, or even fashion. We don't actually care about color trends. Spot-Nordic is not a trendsetter. We leave that to others. The spot matching system serves a special purpose and is built for professional branding and marketing of companies, their logo for starters, and products, of course, in print, for the web, and for television. What is a little bit unusual about the spot matching system is that our print colors are standard CMYK, and our colors don't change visually, whether you print them on coated or uncoated paper, or if you view them on digital displays, from smartphone displays to cinema. This is, in fact, I believe, absolutely unique and sets SMS colors apart from all other color matching systems in the world today. So, when brand colors are defined by a Pantone C color, which is quite typical, that actually means that the brand owner accepts 4 different print variations of the color, plus actually 1 additional one for the web. SMS colors are never defined by a fixed CMYK value, which is unfortunately quite common in our times when brand colors are being defined by the designers. SMS colors are defined by LAB, and the reproduction printing, basically the printing of the colors needs to be to international standards, sRGB for digital displays and ISO standards for the printed versions of the SMS colors. Just to explain what you are seeing here on the screen is that we have a very famous color. This is actually the color that was allocated to the European Union flag, Pantone Reflex Blue. And as you can clearly see, it has basically 4 different color variations, in fact. 1 for the coated spot color, 1 for the uncoated spot color, yet another one for the CMYK printed on coated paper, and 1 for the process color printed CMYK on uncoated paper. But anyway, printing of our SMS colors does not require printers to change their inks on their process. I have gotten this question a few times. So printers that are printing in CMYK, whether they are offset printers or gravure or flexo or even digital printers, they don't have to change their inks. They just continue to use their industry standard inks. All they have to do, all printers have to do to be able to print all our colors with flying colors is they need to have their process under control. That's the only condition, basically. So the spot matching system is by definition also perfect for advertising campaigns that are intended to run in all visual marketing channels. These campaigns in our modern society, they are often referred to as omni-channel campaigns. So they run at the same time in print and on the web, on social media, and in television, in basically all visual media. So what we can do in such cases is that we can keep the key colors of the campaign consistent cross media, and I think that is pretty cool, actually. Our standard palette consists of 500 natural colors that cover most colors of the rainbow, basically, plus a few others. We added, for instance, 80 new colors just last year, and plan to add a few new colors each year. Perhaps even new trend colors, perhaps not. Our primary goal is to reduce constant color fluctuations in brand colors and in the marketing of said brand colors. Built into our approach is to keep SMS as simple as possible for our users, both for graphic designers that use our colors as well as for printers that wish to print our colors, whether they are offset printers, gravure, flexo, or digital printers. And the fact is that our subscribers are not paying for a color system or a color guide per se. They are actually paying for a specialized service, which is, in fact, approximately 10 times cheaper than what it's actually worth if they were to hire someone to do that, what we do. What is maybe a little bit weird about our colors, if you compare them to other color systems, is that basically what you are looking at now on your monitor, if you look at your screen, are actually our actual colors. It's not an idea of what they might perhaps look like. If you're looking at this presentation on a native sRGB screen, whether it's your smartphone, tablet, laptop, or another standard monitor, this is actually what you can expect these colors to look like when they are printed, whether they are printed on coated or uncoated paper. Some viewers might even have figured out by now that the color J1 in the lower left corner is in fact cyan. J13 is in fact magenta. J25 is yellow, and J42 is actually black. That's actually exactly right. Those are the SMS versions of those primary colors that any printer who prints in CMYK can print with flying colors. So the point here, point I'm trying to make here is that SMS colors are WYSIWYG, as you would say in the old days. What you see is what you get. Our SMS print colors are delivered in CMYK to designers according to industry standards, FOCRA, G7, or even Japan color, to SMS ready designers, as we call them, or brand owners. That again means that printers that want to print SMS colors need to be able to print according to ISO 12647-2 or optionally ISO 12647-3 in the case of our SMS Eco series, which I will discuss a little bit later. Well-versed listeners may be aware that the ISO 12647-2 standard is, in fact, the standard that describes four-color printing for offset. And just a moment ago, I mentioned gravure, flexo, and digital printers. This is true. Our SMS colors were actually plucked from the field of standardized offset printing, but our approach to the market is to enable uniform printing according to ISO 12647/2, and that means basically printing to FOCRA 39, FOCRA 47, FOCRA 51, or FOCRA 52 standards, for instance. Whether you are an offset printer, a gravure printer, a flexo printer, or a digital printer, or maybe all of the above. The thing is that brand owners and advertising agencies usually don't care too much about petty things like print standards. And they shouldn't actually have to worry about this, in my opinion. This is something that printers should take care of from their end. Print shops are by now used to converting RGB PDF files to CMYK just before output to plate, with the intent of maximizing the color gamut of the images, usually, which are included in the PDF. This is, however, not possible in the case of SMS colors, unfortunately. It's not that simple. They are not made to pop. They simply always need to yield the same LAB value when measured. And that's why a conversion of SMS colors from RGB to CMYK using either perceptual or relative colorimetric rendering intent is out of the question. If an advertising agency is running a global campaign for a brand owner and they have designed their layout for printing according to, say, FOCRA 51, from our point of view, they should be able to send this master PDF with the FOCRA 51 ICC profile embedded to any printer anywhere in the world, whether it's an offset printer or a gravure printer, flexo, or a digital printer. And they should be able to expect the same visual outcome. The same visual outcome of images, and of course, the same visual outcome in printing of their SMS colors, which, since they are delivered in CMYK format, are of course printed as a part of the layout, and the printer may not even be aware that they are there. The way we do it, that thing we do, is by delivering handmade SMS colors to our SMS subscribers for each scenario, for each type of job. One version for CMYK printing on coated paper, for instance, another version for printing on uncoated paper, yet another version for web viewing, and another one for television, for instance. But when you look at all those versions of our SMS colors side by side, they will look like it's the same color. That is our point. That is our goal, basically. So, our system is subscription-based. The price per SMS subscription is 420 euros per year, per location. That's all. Brand owners, graphic designers, and printers can subscribe to SMS, and we issue so-called SMS-ready badges, like the one you see on your screen, to our subscribers. And of course, we recommend SMS-ready printers to our SMS-ready brand owners and designers, since this is the only scenario where we are actually able to make sure that the SMS colors are correct on the designer side and are reproduced correctly by the printer on the printer side. So, good Lord. All right. There was supposed to be a very important slide there, but I'll just show it to you later then.
Was that the blue lagoon that you were missing?
You're going to see, just hold on, try to unsee that, it's coming up soon. But let me talk a little bit more about the SMS ready and the subscription model, because I assume that most of our listeners are in the print industry. I'm going to talk a little bit about SMS ready for printers and how that is useful. So all basically that is required on behalf of printers that wish to subscribe to SMS and earn their SMS ready badge is that they must have their process under control, as I mentioned earlier, to the extent of being able to actually print our SMS colors on their presses within a delta E 2000 of 1, 2, 3. So that's either 1 or 2 or 3, in fact, which in all honesty requires process control that only the best printers can in fact commit to. There's no way to cheat in the case of SMS, since SMS colors could pop up anytime in any job. We do recommend our brand owners and designers that they provide a certified SMS proof with the SMS colors to be printed as a safety precaution. But of course, this is not a condition on our behalf, and they may already be there in your next job, since it's not either, it's not a condition either that our color be printed only by an SMS ready printer, for instance. Although, of course, we highly recommend that, as I mentioned earlier. But to humanize this a little bit, this sounds, I know, this sounds a bit harsh, for printers. But to humanize this a little bit, we offer printers to subscribe in 3 different categories. Gold, which is printing of our SMS colors within a delta E of 1 from the target. Silver, that's for printing within a delta E of 2. And bronze, which is printing within a delta E below 3, which is still acceptable to us, So it just basically depends on each printer, how tight his restrictions are in the press room. So each printer can optionally buy even more than one subscription. For instance, if they can commit to a silver rating on their digital press and the bronze rating on their offset press. We, however, actually don't recommend this, but rather that all presses in all categories in the press room be adjusted to print within the same delta E. To put it in other words, to basically print the same way visually on all presses, even if that means subscribing as a silver or bronze rather than gold, for instance. Because SMS is, by the end of the day, it's all about visual consistency in color. In this case, the printer himself is responsible for informing his customer of the SMS rating available for each job, depending on the press or printer that is to be used to print the job. So either you are SMS ready in the gold, silver, or bronze category to print this job. We don't conduct formal audits. In principle, each SMS ready badge and SMS subscription is simply valid for 1 year. And on renewal, the printer has to once again print the SMS test form and inform Spot-Nordic whether his rating should be changed or not. The subscription is automatically renewed every 12 months by default, but the printer can of course cancel the subscription before the end of every 12-month period. This also means that each printer is in fact completely responsible for printing to the standards set by himself. And if we get a complaint from an SMS subscriber, let's say a designer or a brand owner, that an SMS-ready printer is printing SMS colors below his own standards, we will cancel the subscription of the printer without notice. So even if SMS subscription and SMS ready badge is, of course, available to all printers, big and small, and the cost per subscription is only 420 euros per year, it's simply not for every printer to subscribe to SMS. We offer printers that do have their process under control, but have perhaps not adjusted their printing to international standards, to build custom SMS ICC profiles that adjust their printing to the requested print standards, let's say to FOCRA standards or G7, depending basically on his clients and customers. Such custom SMS profiles are available to printers in all categories, as I mentioned. And it's the French company Courrier that is responsible for building these SMS output profiles for Spot-Nordic. We offer, yes, we are here. The cost per custom SMS profile, yes, it's in the range from approximately 300 to 900 euros, to give you an idea. So now we go to our Blue Lagoon, finally. A lot of brands have recently shown a lot of commitment to the environment and are doing their part to reduce their carbon footprint in every way that they can. Brand owners that pick SMS colors to represent them are in fact minimizing their carbon footprint in printing of their own colors. The reason is simply that process printing does not require stocking of special inks, washing down of press units, replacing 4 color presses with 7 color presses. And of course, SMS colors, any SMS color can be correctly reproduced on uncoated paper, even recycled uncoated paper. Designers and brand owners, furthermore, do not need to check our colors from bulky printed formula guides that were shipped by air across the world to reach them. SMS colors are available right there on their screens, usually looking closer to their process printed counterparts than expensive printed color guides usually are to what they should look like. This is due to color fluctuations in printing of the guides and fading of paper and inks caused by father time. It is my pleasure to use this opportunity while on the subject of environment to present a brand new edition of the SMS color palette, which is called SMS Eco series. Like the original SMS color palette, it too contains 500 colors, aligned and set up in the same logical way as the original colors. Only difference is that the Eco series are made up and they are made for off-white substrates, meaning that we can even hit an SMS Eco color perfectly in cold set newspaper printing according to ISO 12647-3. Also known by many as the Van Ifra standard. Just as we can hit the same color in printing on ice bright paper according to FOCRA 51 or FOCRA 52. The Eco colors are truly media neutral and even more natural than our original natural SMS color palette, which is built from the ground up for printing on white paper. Needless to say, the Eco colors are also perfect on digital displays and on television. The best way for printers to think about the Eco series is to think of them as off-white shades. For brand owners that are especially concerned about the environment, the Eco series should be at the top of their bucket list, since 100% recycled paper that is, and which is becoming quite popular in our times, it does tend to be off-white, somewhat off-white. And with the Eco series, that's perfectly okay. The SMS Eco color palette can now be viewed on our website, spotmatchingsystem.com, under the service section. Just like the original SMS color palette, it can be downloaded free of charge for web design and evaluation right from our website. Since first presenting the spot matching system at the end of year 2018, the concept has evolved quite a bit, and we have found new amazing partners that support and contribute to the SMS initiative. I am happy to welcome new partners that want to support our initiative towards a perfectly color-consistent world, whether they are machine manufacturers, software developers, or manufacturers of quality consumables that can in some way contribute to our initiative. We also welcome investors that want to invest in the future of brand color without limitations or compromise. The spot matching system has, in fact, already evolved to a complete ecosystem, and we are no longer restricted only to the colors of the SMS color palette. In fact, a part of our services today already includes taking any element and converting it to our SMS color space, including, of course, existing logos, but also images in 2D and 3D. The next step we already see in front of us is to bring the spot matching system from just covering all visual marketing channels out into the real world. So don't be surprised if you see products and garments printed, coated, or dyed with SMS colors before too long. In a world where virtual and augmented reality and reality itself are merging already, it's an obvious advantage to start off with digital colors that are future ready today for the virtual and augmented reality applications of tomorrow. Ready for print, your online store, for television, and the potential of applying them to items that exist in reality, to anything from clothes, to houses, to buses or airplanes. The sky is basically the limit. By starting off with SMS colors, anything can be presented in its true colors in all media. All SMS colors can, with a little effort, be correctly reproduced in the real world. But not all real-world colors can be correctly reproduced in all media. That's just the way it is. So by starting off with SMS colors, we can make the world completely color consistent. I hope to see at least some of our listeners today subscribe to SMS, but only if you are SMS ready and if you have your process under control. We are already talking to printers outside the conventional printing on paper. So if you are printing on, for instance, textile or plastic, don't be shy. We may even be able to get you printing our SMS colors according to our standards. So please feel free to contact SMS at Spot-Nordic.com and check out our SMS solutions at spotmatchingsystem.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Ingi. A couple of things comes to mind. First of all, you and I, we have been teasing a little bit each other about when to use SMS colors and why it is important. And every time I talk to you and every time I see presentation of what you do, I get more and more convinced that you are right. That annoys me a little bit.
Well, that's good. That's the most important thing, you know. If it's sinking in, even if it's sinking in slowly, that's great.
Yeah, I think my wife, she always continues to say to me that I'm very stubborn, so maybe that is the reason. So I think a couple of things that I couldn't help thinking of, and again that might be to my limited knowledge about things, so bear with me if I'm asking stupid questions. When you refer to the SMS colors and to the eco colors that you just showed both of them on screen, the white balance or the white point in the paper, doesn't that mean that you have to make different profiles of colors for each paper type?
No. What we actually do is it's easier than that, Morten. We simply, what we do is that we use industry standard profiles.
Okay,
we adapt our colors to current profiles. So, for instance, FOCRA 54 is quite a recent profile that FOCRA issued. And the new eco colors, they are, for instance, perfectly suited for FOCRA 54.
The reason why I was asking was because, you know, as a layman, sometimes when I view a PDF in Acrobat, and then I can simulate the color profile or the paper profile, right? Then you can see how much the colors actually change depending on the whiteness of the paper. So I thought that, you know, that kind of influenced the visual appearance of colors depending on the substrate. And I think also when you mentioned that the eco colors were using on recycled paper and even on newspapers, it's typically have a gray tone to the paper rather than having a very white bluish tone to the paper, right? That was why I was wondering, especially if you have the lighter colors where you have a lot of the paper visuals, but you say that it's already fixed in the mix, so to speak, right?
Yeah, basically the eco colors for printers, it's best to think about them as off-white. They are all off-white. They are shifted towards the off-white point, basically. So that of course means that, you know, it has its disadvantages, of course. For instance, blue colors, you should not be using the eco colors if your logo is blue, for instance, you know. But if it's green or if it's red or even yellow, they are fine, actually, you know. But stay away from the blue tones.
Like almost with everything. You know, when you mentioned the reflex blue, I think that everybody has been in the position that even some, I know that even some laminations don't really work well with it unless you have special reflex blue colors, right?
Yeah, and it also depends on the ink, even on the ink type, you know. So it is a beautiful color, but it can be hell to work with.
And I think that one of the things that we need also to talk about when I have you here on our Learn With Us is that you're not just talking about this from a theoretical perspective, because you are educated as a print operator. So you have been working on the presses for years. So you know everything about what to, when you say that you need to have printers with high standards when it comes to the deltas, delta E's, and you know these things. It's not just something that you have calculated your way to, right?
Yeah. The reason why I came up with the SMS concept, you know, and it came up, you know, I have been working more or less on this since around 2000, you know, doing experiments even back then, you know, and this was because CMYK basically took over the industry. Remember, you know, and so I have spent quite a lot of time, of course, in the press room. You know, I have mixed a lot of Pantone colors in my time. You know,
I can imagine.
And the reason basically why I came up with the SMS system is that there is a big gap between Pantone colors on one side and CMYK on the other. It's a big gap.
Yeah, and the gap is as you have mentioned to me also in some of our other conversations, pretty clear, because if you have different media, it can be from large format to textile to newspaper advertising to websites to television to everything, it becomes very clear. I actually haven't seen that one that you showed in the beginning with Heinz, the Heinz 57 color. I think it's actually very I think it's a fantastic slide to start with, because that really shows that a color is not just like a color, even though that you have a PMS color defining it. So that is the representation of the color is really interesting. You mentioned these SMS-ready printing companies. How has it been to get to the point where I guess you have printers already supporting the SMS initiative, but how is things going?
It's coming along slowly, of course, fortunately slowly. So I'm still able to actually, keep things in check.
Mm-hmm.
But there is increased interest by printers and by designers in several countries, actually. So I think the future is very bright for SMS. I think a lot of people are beginning to realize that it is a good idea to be in charge of your colors, know what it will look like in advance, instead of always being surprised,
Which too often happen, to be honest, right?
Yeah. And it also just creates stress. It's costly, because if a printer has to reprint a job because there was something wrong with the colors, and there is no reason to continue like this. We have all the tools we need to print consistent color, and not just photographs, but also brand colors. Just use the SMS colors, and you're gonna be okay.
Just of curiosity, maybe you already done it, but do you have like I was about to say kind of a heat map where you have put all the SMS colors, and then you have taken the number of Pantone colors that actually matches, so you can see the crossover?
No, actually. Actually, I do not. But it is a part of our service. We just take this customer, one customer at a time. So let's say, for instance, if you are a new customer and you have been using Pantone colors and you love your Pantone colors, we all love our Pantone colors, of course. But what we can do is that you simply pick out an SMS colors. We're going to find the best SMS color you like visually, and then we can always find a Pantone color if you want to have a Pantone match.
But maybe that answers the question. I was just thinking that sometimes, you see that if you have the color gamut, right, then you sometimes see that here is the RGB and here's the CMYK, and the Pantones are basically all over. And if this was the SMS colors, it could be sometimes nice to say that, okay, out of the many hundreds, thousands of Pantone colors, these are the ones that matches the already existing within the gamut. Because then basically all the people that have already got the PMS colors within the SMS color gamut, they should be very interested in this one, because that would save them money when they print, and they would get a higher consistency when they print in other medias as well, right? That was right.
But maybe this is a bit of a long way to get to where you want to get, because usually most companies, and when we talk about brands, when I say brands, I'm not just talking about Coca-Cola or Cheerios or big packaging brands. I'm just talking about normal companies, small companies like our companies.
Who never asked for a Pantone color, because today we are used to 4 colors, so we need the consistency and we need to have a reference point. That is what you're talking about, right?
Yes, and it should not matter to most brand owners if their designer switches them from Pantone to SMS. It's just a little bit of shift in color, but what you get is that your colors will be your colors, in all media from then on. It's like a technical shift, basically.
Yeah.
No.
Well, Ingi Karlsson, you got your time now because we are over time, but that was because some of the other people couldn't figure out to do their presentations right. You almost did it on time. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Morten.
I think it was very interesting. So I wish you all the best. Until next time we talk to each other.
Good luck to INKISH as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.